One story, a vivid, emotional modern story that draws curiosity. He had everything most people spend their lives chasing: money, power, reputation. From the outside, his life was perfect. A skyline office, tailored suits, dinners that cost more than most people's rent. Yet every night, as the city lights flickered across his penthouse window, he lay awake staring at the ceiling. Not from stress, but from emptiness. He used to think success was a ladder. The higher he climbed, the freer he'd feel. But somewhere between the corner office and the luxury car, something slipped away. The laughter of friends, the warmth of mornings without meetings, the ability to breathe without checking his phone. One evening, after another hollow celebration, he opened an old book, a gift from his late father. Inside was a letter from Seneca. Wealth is not having great possessions, but having few wants. He read it 3 times. Then he laughed, softly at first, then bitterly, because it hit him. He had more than he ever wanted, yet wanted more than he ever needed. The next morning, he walked to work without his car, without his phone, without his usual armor of noise. For the first time in years, he noticed the wind, the sound of birds between traffic, the simplicity of being alive. That day, he realized success isn't about owning more, but needing less. If stories like this remind you to slow down, to breathe, and to see life through a wiser lens, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to Legacy of Thinkers, where ancient wisdom meets modern chaos. Because sometimes, to move forward, we have to remember what the Stoics already knew. 2 Stoic lessons. Teachings from Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus. The Stoics never hated wealth, they just refused to be owned by it. Seneca, one of the richest men in Rome, lived in a mansion yet reminded himself daily that luxury was only borrowed. He wrote, "He is a great man who uses earthenware as if it were silver, and silver as if it were earthenware." In other words, enjoy what you have, but never let it define you. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who ruled the world, practiced the same restraint. Each morning, before the Senate and the soldiers, he whispered to himself, "You could lose it all today, and still remain whole." He believed the purpose of power was service, not status. The higher you rise, the more gently you must walk. And Epictetus, born a slave, crippled, poor, proved that freedom has nothing to do with possessions. He said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." His chains were physical, but his mind was untouched. That's why his words still outlive kings and empires. To them, success was never about the applause of others but the alignment of one's soul. Wealth is neutral. It becomes poison only when it owns your peace. True victory, the Stoics taught, is self-command. The ability to stay steady when fortune rises or falls. Imagine a scale. On one side, money and recognition. On the other, integrity and calm. The Stoics chose the latter, not because they hated comfort, but because they valued control. They understood that the richest person in the room is not the one with the biggest bank account, but the one who needs the least to feel complete. 3. Reflection. Connect to audience's personal life and emotions. Take a moment to think about your own life. How much of what you chase every day, money, validation, approval, actually brings you peace? We work harder, buy more, compare endlessly, yet deep down, most of us are just trying to feel enough. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. They warned that the greatest poverty isn't having little, it's never being satisfied. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You could leave life right now, Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Imagine if you lived that way. Would you still argue online? Would you still measure yourself by likes, titles, or the car you drive? Or would you finally look inward to build strength, calm, and gratitude for what's already yours? Seneca reminded us that time, not money, is our most precious possession, and yet we trade it away so easily for things we'll forget by next week. What if success wasn't about addition, but subtraction? What if becoming more actually means needing less? Maybe that's why the Stoics still matter today, because in a noisy, distracted world, they remind us that stillness is power, and simplicity is freedom. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, if tomorrow never came, would you be proud of how you lived today? If this message made you pause, reflect, or simply breathe a little deeper, share it with someone who needs that same reminder. Leave a comment with your thoughts, what success truly means to you. And if you want more moments of calm, clarity, and timeless Stoic wisdom, like this video, and subscribe to Legacy of Thinkers, because every day, we're rebuilding the ancient strength the modern world forgot.